Okay, we've got an exciting opportunity here to talk to a man making his pro debut at Cage Warriors 155, June 2, next Friday, just a week away. Anthony Orozco. Anthony, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you, Steven?
I'm good, thank you, man. Like we said, June 2, beautiful San Diego, just a week from tonight. 1 week out from the pro debut. How are you feeling, man? That seems like the nerves would be coming right now, yeah?
Yeah, I'm over the moon right now, man. Practicing a lot, just visualizing the fight. Yesterday at practice, my coach, when I walked in, he had a red carpet light laid out. He had the lights turned off. He's like, "All right, get in the game. I'm gonna play your walkout song, and we're gonna simulate this thing for real." So the nerves were a little bit yesterday, kind of just like feeling like I went through the motions. And that's just how this camp's been going. We're really trying to simulate the fight and make sure that I'm ready for anything this guy can throw at me. So
Yeah, I was gonna talk about that because just about 10 minutes before we started this interview, I saw that on your TikTok. Or I saw it on your Instagram, but it was from a TikTok that you made. Um, you've been doing these
yeah.
little vlogs building up to this fight. What gave you the idea to do that?
So my girlfriend's really into like influencing and doing just like making content. So I realized I've been told by a lot of people that I need to start making content. So I actually 3 weeks ago came into a lot of time because I was working at an accounting firm and they let me go just due to like a failed split and they needed to let go of some of their guys. So I've come into a lot of free time,
Yeah.
decided to make a lot more social media content and kind of just push for that because I've heard of stories of like guys not being entertaining or guys not having a social media and fight organizations not really wanting them. I don't know if that's even a worry for me. Even if I didn't make the content, I feel like I could be great and my fighting style would pull in a lot of flack, but it's why not?
Yeah, of course. And it's good content as well. I saw a
I was
certain
gonna say,
yeah, I saw a certain Meatball Molly McCann in in the comments of the one yesterday.
yeah, she's a stud. Love her. I want her to come out. They have Cage Warriors has a star-studded cast.
Yeah,
Comment. I was like, why not get Meatball on there too to make the trifecta? Then it would be Meatball, Steve-O, which is crazy, and then
yeah,
Thug
that's
Rose.
insane. Steve-O being on the commentary is insane.
I'm really looking forward to. I want to splatter some blood on him because he
Yeah,
was looking wants to get some blood. I thought
yeah.
that was fun. I feel like he'd remember me if I did that. So
That's awesome. That's awesome. Um, on the debut, just quickly, why do you feel now is the right time to make that jump? Obviously, 9-1 as an amateur, IMMAF Pan Am gold medalist. You're just at the IMMAFs in Belgrade. Two great finishes at that event. Why now?
I just feel like there was no when I fought in Worlds, there wasn't anyone that was really outclassing me. So figure everyone there is mid tier to high level pro
Yeah.
caliber. And I put up a really great fight against the champ. I mean, he won by split decision, maybe like 2-1 or whatever. It would be 29-28, decision. Like, so I feel like I'm as high caliber, if not higher caliber than these guys. And then I've only been fighting for a year and a half. So it is like a question, why would you do that? But I just don't see doing IMMAF Worlds again as an option. And Cage Warriors kind of fell into my lap. It's in San Diego. It
Yeah.
just everything's just serendipitous. Everything just flew together.
Yeah, so then how did Cage Warriors come about? Was it someone saw you at the IMAFs? Did Graham come to you with the deal? What happened there?
So my coach, my head coach or my old head coach Chuck Martinez, he knew personally Graham Boylan,
Yeah.
and he's Graham and Chuck have been in the San Diego circuit for quite some time. So Chuck just hit up Graham and said, "Hey, I got two stud fighters looking to make their pro debut at Cage Warriors. You into it?" And then Graham was into it, so Bobby Winther and I making our debut now.
Yeah. It's an interesting one with Cage Warriors in the US because obviously it's a big name over here in Europe, especially in the UK. Not as established in the US, but it's growing. There's a lot of work going into these San Diego shows. So obviously you said you had the connection to Graham there, but Was
Mhm.
was there a part of you that thought, let's maybe go to a different US regional show, or was it always Cage Warriors for you?
That's a good question. There are notoriously easier organizations that I could have found. I'm not really interested in not being a pure, like not having a pure track record.
Yeah.
I've seen people fight at pretty weird shows and they've gotten pro wins, but to me, it's just not the same. It's not the pure aspect. So I want to fight at Cage Warriors for a
Yeah.
few fights and then, yeah, you know. And Cage Warriors is growing out here, dude. We sold it out. So
Mm.
tickets are sold out, which is exciting. You always want to be a part of a show that's going to be sold out and super personal. I actually got 42 people to use my link. So I got
Nice.
42 people going out there. Going to be loud. So
Yeah, yeah. I've
ready
been
to
a,
put on a
I've been
show.
to a few of the Cage Warriors shows here in London, and if the crowd in San Diego is anything like that, it's going to be a fun time for sure. Um,
Ah,
yeah. On the fight, Jeremy Fattorusso is the opponent. He's got a bit of experience. He's pro. He's 2-1 as a pro. How much do you know about him? What have you been able to find out about him coming in?
yeah, so he doesn't have his three pro fights even on YouTube, or I couldn't find it anywhere. I looked up his opponents, even like I try to deep dive, I try to expect, but there's nothing on those three guys. So I have to base my opinion off of his amateur fights, which is I'm taking it with a grain of salt. It's he's his last amateur fight on YouTube was from 2017. So that's like 6 years of development he could have had,
Yeah,
which is
completely different guy now.
different guy. So, I'm kind of going in there just trying to be prepared for the best in the world. So, I'm trying to be the best. So
Yeah,
that's what I'm prepared for.
yeah. So obviously you don't know much about him, but for anyone who hasn't seen you before, hasn't seen you in the IMMAFs, what can they expect from you? Obviously, two-time national champion speaks for itself, but there's more to you than that, isn't there? What can people expect when they see you in there?
I'm thinking there's going to be a high display of IQ in this fight. If I get to take it to the ground, there's a lot of intricacies that I've been working on, and you can tell that I've broken down the game just because I've had so much time over the last month. And I just think there's going to be a lot of eyes opened on the IQ of me. And then if anyone had followed or basically, this is my debut, and I don't think it's very often that pro fighters go from amateur to debut and showcase all the new tools that they have. I'm going to be using my knees. I'm going to be using my elbows. I'm going to be establishing those quickly. I'm trying to look for cuts right off the bat with
Yeah.
these sharp elbows, sharp knees, and yeah, that's pretty much what they can expect. Either a full-on display of dominance or a vicious, violent, cut up Jeremy Fattorusso.
We mentioned IMAF briefly. I want to touch on that a bit because that just seems like a wild experience out there.
Yeah,
But what was that like for you? Because I guess there would be some similarities to like college and wrestling, right?
absolutely. It's basically a tournament. It's if I went all the way, it would have been 5 fights in 5 days.
Yeah.
We were pads and puffy gloves, so it kind of mitigates the damage over those 5 days. But nevertheless, I had 3 fights in 3 days. I lost on my third day. Was prepared to go all five, but whatever. I got Serbia for a little bit. That's where I met Meatball Molly McCann. She was just being funny all around. She
Yeah.
was walking around
I can
warm up,
imagine.
poking and prodding me. We ended up talking. I RKO'd her. Like we're cool. A lot of superstars there, and I know a lot of those guys are going to become superstars. So it felt really cool to be a part of that.
Yeah, there's so many guys going through that format. You obviously look at someone like Makayev in the UFC, who's yeah, he was like a
He came
superstar.
from that, right?
He was like a superstar of IMAF, yeah. Yeah. I just want to, is there a video of
Yeah.
that RKO anywhere?
There's picture footage. There's not a video. So maybe there's
Ah.
live photos, but I have like 6 photos of it in action. But,
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to take up too much of your time. Obviously, it's a busy week for you with the fight just a week away now. Thanks for taking the time with me today. Finally, when yourself and Jeremy Fattorusso step into the cage, you've talked about it a bit already, but just give the people a little tease of what they can expect.
I feel like it's gonna be like a freight train, but like a pulsing freight train. Like I'm not necessarily gonna go in balls to the wall. I'm gonna be a little cautious, take my angles. But when I do decide to explode, it's gonna be quick, it's gonna be fast, and it's gonna be painful.
Awesome. Sounds fun to watch.
Yeah, I'm tuned in, dude. I'm really excited. I'm trying to be an entertainer at the same time. Like one of my favorite things to do is entertain people and entertain myself. And like I want to look back on the just be proud of what I put on a display. So
Yeah, I
yeah,
saw even on the video of your simulation, you were like sprinting out to the cage, climbing over the cage. Like, yeah.
dude, I really have that like those emotions bottled up. Like I want to sprint out to the cage. Come, I
Yeah. Like you
really
said,
do.
yeah.
But I heard that it's tunnels back and it's like short from once you actually emerge from like the corridors to the cage. So it's like not going to look like too much of a run. It's probably a couple steps, but
Yeah.
I don't know. It's definitely want to, like I just want to get in already.
Yeah. I mean, I can tell the excitement just from talking to you today. Just before we wrap up, feel free to if there's anyone you want to give a shout out to or any sponsors you want to throw out there.
Yeah, some sponsors. Well, first, actually, I want to shout out to my coach, Vince Salvador. He's been so helpful for this camp, for actually most of my camps. He's
Yeah.
killed it. I always seem to run into one coach in any particular time that just pours into me. That's how I got good at wrestling. When I started 8 years ago, I switched coaches. At one point, that coach poured into me. So I've just been really lucky with coaches that just pour into me. My teammates, dude, for them to do the simulation yesterday, like just opened my eyes. Like I'm surrounded by just greatness,
Yeah.
And so that's on that side. I also want to thank like my family, my mom. She's always looking out for me. Um, always making sure that her baby feels good. She's like, "Can I get you anything for the fight?" Yada yada. Oh, and my birthday's in a couple of days, so she's always like,
Yeah.
she wants to get me an animal because she thinks I need to like slow down a little bit sometimes.
Yeah.
Uh, but shout out to on that side of the support. And then for my sponsors, shout out to Juju's. Since I lost my job, it's been really helpful to have this Juju's Kitchen food company kind of help me out with meals. And that's been a blessing. And then Royal NFC, a supplement company.
Yeah, that's awesome. Um,
But
yeah.
hope inquiries, I'm open to inquiries.
Yeah.
I got space on my shorts. So if anyone else wants to sponsor me out.
Got it. 15 months from starting off to making a pro debut with Cage Warriors. That's quite a ride, isn't it? Looking forward to seeing how it progresses next Friday. All right. I want to thank
That
you.
is a wild.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to thank you for taking the time today, Anthony. Best of luck next Friday. I'll be watching on UFC Fight Pass as well. I didn't say that. UFC Fight Pass, Cage Warriors 155 San Diego. Looking forward to it, man.
Let's go. Thank you so much, Steven. This was awesome.
Thanks.